Welcome to your Ultimate Life podcast, where we help you break free from mediocrity and create a life of purpose, prosperity, and joy. Get your free video series at yourultimatelife.ca.
Hi there. Welcome to Your Ultimate Life, episode 856. Identify, productize, monetize, part 2. So we talked in last episode 855 about how to identify one or more things that you can offer to the world that will make you money, make you happy, and make an impact. And in fact, if you follow the instructions carefully and diligently and get some help, you will identify the powerful set of offerings, or maybe a single offering, that will make you the most money, make the biggest impact, meaning help the most people, and be the most fun. And we're not going to talk about how to identify it on this one because we did it in 855. So listen to that one. Now we're going to talk about turning it into a product. I call that productize. Well, what does that even mean? Well, after you've identified a thing, a service, a skill, a product that you could offer to the world, one of the funny things that happens all the time is people say, well, I could do this and I could do that. Well, you could. What are you going to do? What are you going to actually do? And then you go about the work of figuring out what it would look like. Well, if I'm a baker and I want to offer a loaf of bread, I know exactly what that looks like. It's about that long and, it has this and that in it, and it feeds people and makes them not hungry and hopefully tastes really good. So how are you going to productize what you have? Well, the first thing is to figure out how you want to sell it. Like you could set up a lemonade stand and sell it on the street corner. You could twirl a sign, like those sign twirlers, and have people go into a storefront that you have to sell whatever you decide to sell or offer. One great blessing we have today that we didn't have 20 years ago or 25 years ago, is this internet thing that reaches around the world, and speeds keep getting faster and tools keep getting better. And so that means literally you can sell anything you have to sell, offer any service or product you have almost anywhere in the world. Astounding, isn't it? Like we take that for granted. And 15 minutes ago, not really, but not very many years ago, you couldn't do that. You had to put stuff in the newspaper. I'm reminded of when I had a recording studio. My musical background, I did music forever, and I had also done some session work, playing keyboards in different studios. I decided to open a recording studio. So the product that I offered was recording. But my particular specialty was, because I had also learned how to score or orchestrate things, and I had also learned how to play really well on the keys, I could offer a special service. And this is that. I could have a singer, songwriter, guitar player, keyboard player, in some cases a sax player, a flute player, whatever, doesn't matter, come into the studio, show me the song that they had, lyrics and melody, and maybe the melody wasn't even complete, and I could work with them, flesh it out. What kind of a song, what genre, what kind of music is it? Is it rock? Is it folk? Is it, R&B? Like, what is it? What do you want it to be like? And have them and listen to some examples. And then because I had that set of skills, we could go about recording the whole thing, drums and guitars and keys and voice and all of it. We could do all that. So the productizing was, I can help a singer-songwriter walk out with a complete song or a complete album. And I did that a lot. And the studio was very busy. But if I hadn't put together how I productized that, is I got a lot of equipment, a lot of keyboard synthesizers, and a lot of drum machines. And so there was a variety of tools that I knew how to use all of, and I could produce nearly anything that the client wanted. And so that made me very popular because I had the gear and I had the skills. So the product that I offered was, we can finish your song. Whatever state it's in, we can finish it. And that was really exciting because lots of people, they had song ideas, maybe they get to play guitar, piano or something, but they didn't know how to get it done. And I did. So I could do that. Today, everything's changed, and you can do a lot of that online or on your computer with recording software. And so the recording software takes the place of the gear that I used to have, but it doesn't help you arrange. Some new stuff with AI is starting to help with that, chord progressions and suggested drum patterns and things. So that is becoming more and more and more available. Well, all that's done is change the shape of it. Now, I don't run that recording studio anymore. I ran it for many years. Today I have a studio, but I only use it for my stuff. And I have now 88 songs, soon to be 91, because I'm putting 3 more up pretty quick on Spotify. But that is an example of how I productized a skill that I had and a passion, because I love music and I was skilled in music and it was a gift that I had. And I had done a lot of work, my life experience. And so all of that together put me in a place where I could productize that particular offering. Now, and I still do that a little bit. And today, they don't even have to come to the studio. That used to be, but you can record something in another studio as long as you've got a click or a rhythm track, and then you can send wave files. And so you can do it all remotely with new tools. So that's a detailed example of how to productize. Now, if you've gone through the other exercise, you already have at least 3 or 4 and maybe 10 ideas about what you could offer. Now, productizing is just the exercise of deciding how you're going to offer it. How are you going to offer that in the world? Is it a service where you sell yourself, your skills, you're offering at an hourly rate? So for $50 an hour, $100 or $500 an hour, I will consult with you or I will work with you. I had a client who hired me to write some stuff for their company brochure because I write well. So they sent me their existing brochure and I consulted with them. I didn't rewrite it, but I told them this, change this, move this over here. I rewrote a page or two to give them an example of improvements in language that would be more attractive to potential clients. So that was a per hour consultation. Another thing that I do using my skills, my gifts, and my life experience is I offer help writing books. I have a lot of times people want to write a book and they don't know how, or they're afraid to, or they think they don't know how to, they have anything to say, or they don't know how to organize it. I happen to know all that, and I love helping people tell their stories. I have another fellow who's a client of mine, who has gone from owning one struggling business to now owning 2 very successful businesses. And one of them is an international import-export business that's scheduled to do many, many tens of millions of dollars in business this year. And the projection for the next years is an upward trend. His skills are his ability to think outside the box, to see possibilities where others don't. He has an intuitive feel for things that'll work. He's a really hard worker, right? And so he's combined those things. And he's been a client for about 10 years. We worked on eliminating some of the negative beliefs he had about his own worth and capability. And when those started getting out of the way, his growth trajectory really soared. So using the things you identified in 855, now you got to figure out what it's going to look like. Is it going to be a book? Is it going to be a consulting service? Is it going to be a physical product where you paint? I have a client who's a painter and he sells paintings. Some of them are commissions. Some of them are pictures of couples. He did one for a couple whose child had passed away at 17. And so he did a very memorable, powerful depiction of the child doing some of the activities they loved. And the parents, of course, had a meltdown. And it was so emotional and impactful. So that is something he offers. You don't know. People say this to me all the time. Well, I got nothing. I don't know. I can't do any of that. You probably can't. But I know for sure you have something. I absolutely know that, guaranteed. I've never met a person that we haven't talked for a while that we can't figure out what that is, what it really is, and see, yep, there's a possibility there. So if you're going to productize it, you have to figure out how you're going to sell it. Are you going to sell it in person? Is it a physical delivery product, like a book or a painting or a sculpture, or, what is it that you want to sell? Is it advice, where you are very experienced in financial planning and you're going to give that kind of advice. People do that, financial planners, insurance agents, and sometimes there's a mix with life insurance and so forth. They go give that advice. And here's the key piece. Remember, the third column is your life experience. The ones that I see that are the best are those that have had life experiences that have taught them to be good listeners, to actually care really deeply about their clients, helping to get them to their goals, not just getting a commission because they sold one or more policies. So you have to decide, at least the first round, how am I going to sell this? It's a physical product. It's not a physical product. It's a conversational product. I coach. I meet with people. I have done consulting in my other career that I had for 30 years. I was hired as a consultant to go listen, look at situations, listen to all the things, and then give advice to the decision makers to get stuff done. And then I got hired eventually as the decision maker in a particular case that went from consulting to sort of integrated into the process. And all of those are just choices that you make. Do you want to work from home? Do you want to have a storefront? Do you want to have to ship things physically? All of those are choices you get to make. So productizing is the act of taking one or more of those products, offerings you identified in doing the work from episode 855, doing that work, and then making choices about how you want to offer it in the marketplace, how you want to sell it. I'll give you some examples. I have a video course on how to create time. I have a particular process that makes me really, really good at time efficiency, at saying no to things that need to be said no to, prioritizing. And people ask me all the time, how do you do so much? Well, I have a process that I've developed that creates more time for me than most others have. I mean, we all have the same 24 hours, but many people look at me and say, you must have 2 days. And the answer is no, I have 1 day, but I've learned some things. So I've been asked often to share that. So I created a course, How to Create Time for Joy and Productivity. It's a 12-module video course with PDF homework to write. That's one way to do it. I've written some books. They're on Amazon. I speak. So I go to places and speak. What is the topic? What is the conference about? What will serve the audience? I've been a guest on maybe 400 or more podcasts. Why? Because I want to serve that audience. So I go with the idea of how can I serve the people who come to this show? So in that case, my product is 45 minutes of talking about a certain thing and giving suggestions and tips, if you will, that I know and have learned from my own experience. So the first thing is, how do you want to sell this thing? The second thing is, what would it best look like? Now, some people get stuck here and they go, what's the easiest to make? That's the wrong question. What will people consume? What will come to them in a way that says, ooh, I need to have that? Not just because of the information that you have, but also because how you've presented it is in line with how they want to consume it. So podcasts people listen to or they watch. Information products is something people buy and then they do on their own. One of the big upticks in coaching is the truth that most people buy information products, which is how-to guides, like they buy gym memberships. They buy it because someday they intend to do XYZ, but then they get into it, they get stuck, they get discouraged, it doesn't work the first time, or they misunderstood something, and then they give up, and on the shelf it goes. Shelf help, right? Like all those books behind me. Hope you're watching the video. Anyway, so here's your choice. How will it best serve your audience? How will it best serve your intended marketplace? How will they most likely consume it and most likely get benefit out of it? That's one of the reasons. So, for example, I run a course on how to write books, but my most effective offering is a 90 to 180 day coaching package to help them with every question and to keep them motivated and moving so that at the end of the time, they've got that first draft in hand. It's done. First draft is done, not an idea, not an outline, not a thought. First draft is in hand, 40,000 words or whatever it turns out to be. Now, that is a thing that I offer it three ways. I have a book that people can read if they want to try to do it themselves. I have a class that I teach on how to do it. The most effective one in terms of helping people actually reach their goals is the coaching program, because I get to be with them, answer questions, keep motivated, and all that good stuff. So you need to decide if you're going to productize it, what it looks like. Are you speaking? Are you running workshops? Are the workshops in person? Are they on Zoom? Used to be in person was best. Now everything's virtual. So that's fine. Roll with the changes and figure out how you can best serve your audience and what they would readily consume and have success with. The second question is, what can you produce? If you want to produce a product that's a video course and you don't really know how to shoot or edit video, that doesn't mean you can't do it. That just means that part of your creation process has to be learning something or getting help, someone to do it for you. You can speak all the course in modules, design the modules and speak it and have somebody else edit it for you. You can do that. You can learn to edit and do yourself. Most people don't get stuck on that. Where they get stuck and they call it, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how. And that's a smokescreen. How to do everything is available. Every single thing you want to do, how to is available. In fact, it's free. You can find any information you want online. What you don't find is all the shortcuts, the encouragement, sometimes the hand-holding, accountability. All of that isn't free. That's why coaching is so valuable, because coaching is the process of actually helping people get it done instead of telling them how to do it. That's why coaching is more expensive and far more valuable than just teaching. Teaching someone how to do something is good. Being with them for a period of time, a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, to help it happen so it is done. That is the real value, because it isn't done till it's done. Until then, it's just an idea or, something that's on the shelf partway done. So that's what I love to do. And my productizing is different coaching packages, different frameworks, small groups I run of people that are doing similar things, private coaching. And to augment that, I have books that I've written, courses that I've created to help people, guess what? Get it done. So I've used me as an example. I've used some other folks as an example. Your homework, your work here is to think about, how are you willing to create it? Are you willing to go through the work of writing a book or getting the help you need to write it? Are you willing to create a course and go through the work you need to create it? Video is king, so you need to make video. Are you willing to learn so your video is good? It looks good. It sounds good. It doesn't sound tinny and in a room and distracting. Like, are you willing to do the work to get a good product? So productizing is first, you've already figured out what you want in the last episode. In this one, you figure out, how do I want to produce it? Offer it to the marketplace. The two considerations are, what will they consume best? What will be easiest for them to consume and get the result they're looking for? Because they're not buying the product just to hear you or me talk. They're buying it to get a result. So what is the way that's most likely to get them over the goal line? And the second thing is, what do you already know how to do? And what are you willing to learn? So you can get a sense of what format are you willing to spend the time, effort, money, work, to get it made in that format. Now, another piece of this that goes along underneath this is to think about who needs it. Like, you have a combination of your skills, gifts, and life experience that we talked about in 855 that drove you to pick 3 or 4 things that you not only could offer, but that you'd love to offer. It comes out of your passion. And, finding your passion is a matter of doing the exercise of the triple helix in 855. So if you do that exercise, you're going to have 4 or 5 things that not only could you offer, but you're excited about. Ooh, I'd love to be able to teach, give, coach, write about that. Love to. Ooh, that would be fun. Because it tickles your desire to add good to the world. It pokes you and says, you can do a lot of good with this. You can really help people. You can do this. and you can matter and you can make a difference. You can bless people's lives. That yearning to bless people's lives is in all of us. And you know what really sharpens and strengthens it? The difficulties that you've had in your life. If you've had 1 or 2 or 10 real challenges and you have gotten past them, you've made commitments and choices to get past them, you're armed with powerful stuff. Because there's many millions of people that are facing the exact same or very similar challenges that are looking for the help and guidance that either you got or maybe you had to figure it out on your own. That is needed today more than ever in the history of the world. Fabulously needed. So whatever you came up with in your triple helix exercise, you know without question, it is needed, it is needed, it is needed. So now, who needs it? What are the characteristics of people who need it? They have gone through this. They're struggling with, maybe they're recovering from addiction. Maybe they're recovering from depression. Maybe they had some abuse earlier in their life. They're trying to figure out their self-worth issues. Or maybe they've had a very challenging set of experiences, business and bankruptcy and so forth. And now they've been successful. They've gotten through that and you want to share. I have a client that I helped write a book, same thing. And he had that very story. He created a business, very successful business, and he tried to grow it and he wasn't careful. He made some bad decisions about getting investment capital and so forth. And when he did that, the people that he brought in took over and fired him as the CEO. So he lost his pride and joy, lost his baby. He could have quit, gotten bitter, and gotten mad, but he didn't. What he did is, I'm going to do this again. And he wrote a book about documenting the mistakes that he'd made that caused him to lose the first one. And he's built a new one that is now coming up to being worth about $100 million. So, and he called the book The $100 Million Journey. Then to productize, he wrote the book. Now he's creating a course and a coaching program to help entrepreneurs that are stuck in what he calls that messy middle, where the business has been initially successful, but they're trying to scale in a sustainable way. There's that cycle of more product means more employees and more money, and it has to be done in a way that is sustainable and doesn't consume itself and doesn't kill you as the business owner. Two things. One, you spend too fast and don't sell fast enough, and so you go bankrupt. You sell too fast and you haven't spent enough, so you got a lot of mad customers, or you do both and work yourself to death. There is a way to thread that needle. He found it, wrote a book about it, and has created a course. So when you ask the question, who needs that? Well, entrepreneurs that have created success, they see a possibility for big expansion, future markets, peripheral or side products, more offerings and stuff, but they're struggling with the very difficult thing of raising capital, getting larger facilities, creating a different corporate structure, that kind of thing, without either consuming themselves, losing their customers, or losing the business, working themselves to death. So that's another example. I just got off the phone with a client this morning who's busy offering a book of guidance for a particular age group. Why that age group? And why is she doing that? Well, her own history, life experience gave her special insight and a desire to love and serve. So she's created this product. It's starting with a book, but there's more than that is going to be offered to the group, a particular age group. Why? Because she has the experience and she wants to share and add good to the world. She got through it, learned resilience and learned coping strategies and improvement strategies and growth methods and all kinds of things that she's now excited to share. So it's not only a way to make some money by offering something of value in the marketplace, but it's a way to scratch an itch that she has, a passion to serve those who are just like she was struggling with the very same thing she is. And she's like, I can help you navigate this better than I did, with less pain, less struggle, less misery. So that's the genesis of all this. To productize, what do you have to offer? What are you willing to create? What does your marketplace want? Who needs what you have? What age group or what ideation group? What people with what struggles? What has happened in their life that has brought them up to a place of needing what you have that has come from your experience? All of that in terms of productizing is often where people need a lot of help. They don't know how to shoot good video. They don't know really how to design a course with, I don't know, 10, 12 modules or whatever it is to help people in a structured, organized fashion to get over a particular set of challenges. They haven't done it before and they don't feel like they know how. They don't feel like they know how to write a book. They don't feel like they know how to create a keynote or a 3-day workshop or a 1-day workshop. So they feel like, oh, I don't know how to do this. And then they quit. Okay, I don't know how to do it, so I must not be able to. That is my passion. My passion is drawing on my life experience and my product creation experience and book writing experience, seminar creation experience and speaking experience. I'm committed to help 250 million people, you, figure out how to find your superpower, your triple helix, your gifts, plural. Figure out how to productize them. What makes the most sense for the market you're trying to serve and for your willingness to create. And there are no boundaries. I mean, you're willing to do what you're willing to do. So who needs you? How do they need it? What would be the most service to them? And what are you willing to create? My purpose is to help you, to help those because I've done it. I have created all those things successfully. And guess what? When you navigate a problem successfully, one of the most beautiful things about being human is our natural desire is to turn around and help those right behind us, to turn around and pave the way for others, to turn around and lift and bless those who we see struggling with similar things. Hey, it would be shorter and easier if you X. Let me support you. Let me encourage you. Let me do this for you. Why? Because we are built to love and serve. So the genesis of this desire isn't, I need to make money and I want to do it from home. That might be a byproduct, and that's a fun and admirable goal. I do it. I make money from home. You can too. I am not magic. But it won't come in an Amazon box. It's not magic to do it either. There are a series of steps. Those steps are well known. They've been walked by me and a zillion other people that have taken their skills, their gifts, and their life experience and turned them into products and services that others need. So identifying who needs it, how they'd like to get it, and being able to offer them that thing is the practice of productizing. I'm offering help for that. That's what I do. It's what I love to do. I love it. I'm motivated. 250 million, I've got to help realize who you really are, the capabilities you really have, so you can serve the world and you can make the impact, income you want and have fun. That's the process of productizing. And one of the things that people do is they try to get ahead of themselves and they try to figure out, well, I got to have a product right now. And they try to do it backwards. They're trying to create a product without doing the identify part, which is in episode 855. And so then they struggle round and round. Should I make some videos about this? Should I do what? And they haven't even really nailed down what the this is. What is the this you're trying to help with? What is the this that you feel passionate about serving with? What is the experience or skill or situation that you have encountered and overcome from which you're drawing your lessons, your curriculum, your encouragement, your love, and your desire to serve? And so don't skip 855. Don't skip the identify part. I keep doing this with my fingers because that's your triple helix. Don't skip that part. Do it first and get a clear idea of half a dozen things you could offer, and then go through this product effort of who needs it? How are you going to offer it to them that will make sense? What are you willing to create? What kind of help do you need to create it? Write the book, create the videos, create the course itself. Like, what help do you need? And then go get it, because none of that's going to do itself. But no one can keep you from that pot of gold, the pot of gold of cash and the pot of gold of helping people who need your voice, your experience, and are waiting for you to show up with that thing that you've got in your heart to create. I know because I've done it and I've helped others do it. It's not wishful thinking. I know you can do this if you want to. I know I can help you because I've helped so many, and I've never talked to a person where we couldn't identify what they have to offer and figure out a product path. That's the end of this episode. The next and final episode, Identify, Productize, Monetize, we'll figure out how you take that product to the world, how you market, how you get it in front of people and make it available to them in a way that they understand what it is. And they're like, I need this, I need this, I need this, because they can see such a match between what they're struggling with, what's going on in their lives and what you are offering as a solution. All of this is moving forward so you can create your life of purpose, prosperity, and joy, your ultimate life.
Open your heart and this time around, stand.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. We hope that you take it deeply into your heart and decide for yourself how you can create anything you desire. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to this podcast and share it with your friends. As always, we'd love to hear your feedback and topic suggestions. Until tomorrow, this is Your Ultimate Life with host Kellan.
Stand with your heart in the sky and your